What would you say? You're saying like there was that thing. There was a CEO. I'm forgetting. We were talking about the access to children. It was something they were going to need. It was why they were anti-abortion. It's like we're going to need access to the populace, to a younger populace for the workforce. They were like, we need to make sure that we have workers and consumers, and that's they don't actually want you to have a good life. They just need your body to fill up a space.
Yes, I missed that, but I'm glad I did.
You mean prison? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely that. I mean, well, because that's.
Oh, anti-abortion.
I was saying anti-abortion stuff, but when you're talking about prisons, like that's also like kind of in the same space because we had government officials telling private companies that don't worry, the recidivism rate is going to remain high in this state so that we can fill up the beds because you have a quota for your beds. That's capitalism. Yeah, that sounds like a good show too. Capitalism.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling. These are just grunts and groans. We started. We're talking.
Oh,
welcome to the Brunch Budget podcast. We're starting.
Coming in hot.
Coming
in strong.
Y'all, if y'all listen to us, the illustrious Willie Green is our engineer, producer, sound maker of us good wordiness. And we talk about stuff as we're getting going and rolling, but I think that maybe we were talking about like what a spin-off show would be. This spin-off show would be just us doing, remember the old guys from the Muppets?
Oh my gosh, I would actually watch the two of you do that. I'm ready for that.
Angry men shaking fists at sky.
That would be a good. We're dressed in.
That's the title of the podcast: Angry Men Shaking Fists at Sky.
Yes,
done. Tune in.
I would listen to that. I would watch that. I was saying that's a great visual. If you're looking at any visuals of us, we're in our Halloween costumes.
We are. I am a fire hydrant, and I know you're probably listening to this in like December or something. But remember the time Halloween happened.
We filmed it during that.
We filmed it. I'm a fire hydrant,
and I'm fire because our son is a firefighter.
Yeah,
family theme stuff.
Family themes. Hi everyone. We are at part 3 of our paperwork arc. And we're going to be talking about what to do about all this fucking paperwork.
I think that's why we're procrastinating. That's why we're procrastinating for the start, right?
Just like you procrastinate on doing your paperwork. I feel you. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a super duper trigger warning at the beginning of all of this. I'm just going to mention that we're going to go over I don't know if this is the paperwork thing, but like one of the most emblematic of all American paperwork things and why paperwork is inherently a bad thing and how it's been used to explicitly discriminate. We're going to take at least part of a literacy test. These were the literacy tests that Black Americans had to take to prove that they were worthy of being allowed to vote in America.
This is the test they were given when they went to register to vote.
It's the paperworkiest.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone take a deep breath because I've seen this test and we all need a deep breath.
We're not starting with that, right? No, we're not going to start with it. No, I just was mentioning that,
Okay, good. Okay, everyone, we can continue to procrastinate.
But really though, Pam, what are we going to do about all this paperwork? Because we're talking about all of this stuff and it was made to discriminate and made to hold us down. But one, it's not going away. And
it's not going away.
Two, as people who run businesses, some degree of paperwork is necessary.
It is. And I think that I've seen people be more mindful of it, especially when trying to make things more accessible. I think you're right. Paperwork is not going away. We have to give people paperwork, especially when you're collecting financial information or any information where you need to collate things when you have to collect quantitative information. Often paperwork is involved. Whenever you're filling out applications or things like that, it is technically more efficient, right? And so the thing about paperwork to keep in mind when you have to do it is that it is not a indictment of your intelligence or your abilities or your self-worth. And I think that we put a lot of these emotions on paperwork because it makes us feel stupid, Yeah,
it makes us feel stupid. It makes us feel not together. I was musing something in my head. Excuse me if I'm pulling you down the wrong path.
No, muse away.
when we're talking about paperwork and the necessity of some of it, I think a lot of us, we let go of paperwork because of the having the attraction to capitalism, the discrimination and specific anti-blackness about it. Those of us with African lineage, you think about the oral tradition of how things were passed down, your family sharing, and you're like, you want to run counter to that and these kind of things. And I think about how in this capitalist society, paperwork sometimes is the only thing that protects you.
Right. Having your receipts in a way, right?
It's why you get yelled at about paperwork even by people who love you. Yeah. It's receipts. I mean, receipts is the slang term, right?
Yeah.
For having your proof about stuff, but also literally having your receipts, literally having your papers so people can't pull you up off the street.
Right.
So people can't take the things away from you that you say you own and they say you don't. So that if thinking about us people who have businesses, so you can have records.
Yep.
So you can remember. I mean, I have been pretty anti-paperwork in my time, and that has led to me not giving paperwork to other people or feeling weird about it. Like I'll make the post survey and I'll be in class like, I don't want to give them extra homework or more of a thing, so I'll stop from doing that. And then when I do that, I get home, I may have done my invoices, I may have followed up on them, but I don't know because I look back at my records for the past 2 years and I don't have those things.
Yo, you know what I just thought of too? We are terrible at asking for people to leave reviews about this podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
It feels like another thing. Oh, you have to go and click on this thing and fill out the comment box and put in the stars and all this stuff. It feels like an extra step that we're asking people for.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, y'all listening, like, I guess I want you to have done it because that would be nice. It looks nice on the thing, for stuff, but like, I don't want you to do it. On the real, y'all. If you can program a bot to do it for you, just give us a bunch of nice bot comments or something. But I don't want y'all going through that. Yeah. Thinking about what to say in the right words and all of that.
But but you're right though, because paperwork does protect you when it's done, right? In a lot of ways. There's proof. There's this proof of this moment in time. There's proof of this existence, this relationship that's happening.
You can be, it's the thing, I talk about this with my students all the time. You can be like, I'm not going to do no paperwork, right? Like I had in my head. And then you need to move somewhere where that's not a thing.
Yeah.
For me, I lived in the islands and there was, that inkling of possibility that you could just go sleep on the beach and, fish for a living and go rainforest, get your fruits and stuff.
You could do that.
You could go do that. There are places. It's not like it's impossible to do that. But something that's really real that just y'all take a deep breath and feel is if you haven't gone there, you've made your decision.
Yeah.
If you're here and you want to be here, this paperwork will protect you. As contradictory as that sounds.
Yeah. And, it exists for a reason, even though it has denied people access in the past and is currently denying people access now.
Today's episode is sponsored by us, PocketChange. At PocketChange, we offer in-person and virtual workshops for students from grade school to grad school, professional development for educators and administrators, and jams for the whole family to learn, unlearn, and unpack. We use hip-hop pedagogy in the classroom to meet students where they're at, and hip-hop performance in the communities to dispel myths and create new common sense around money. For some free resources, go to pocketchange.com/toolkit and sign up for our newsletter. Let's change the way we talk about finance.
I want to talk about really paperwork at every stage. I do think it's time for us to take the literacy test.
Do we do the stages before the test or the test before the... We're going to do the test first? Okay, let's do the test.
Let's do the test.
Okay.
Let's do the test. Let's do the test. I was going to say let's do the stages if we want to keep procrastinating, but
we clearly didn't outline this section. We looked at them and we were like, I don't know which one. We going to feel it out? We're feeling it out.
Yeah, we're feeling it out. Well, that's the thing too. I feel like that when it comes to something like paperwork, one of the things that I do recommend is scheduling time to do it. Dialect and I have recently started having more formal money dates where we actually take care of a lot of life admin that happens, right? And a lot of life admin has to do with paperwork. I've heard this term recently. I don't remember from who. I think another financial planner. But this concept of you have to do some administration for your life, right?
I think we need to wheel up and come again real quick because you're talking about money dates, and I don't think everybody knows what we're talking about when it comes to money dates. We're married. I don't know if you know. I hope we have decent chemistry. We're a couple, a pair, a duo.
We do life together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we go on dates, but we came up with this idea called money dates. And this is something that you can do if you are in a couple, or if you're in a throuple, a big poly group situation, or if it's just you and a friend, or even maybe by yourself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about a money date is you're really going on a date with your money, right? And part of that is doing this paperwork stuff, and part of that is taking care of bills or making phone calls or like things like that.
Because you got to put in the work if we want your money to put out.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
So we've started scheduling time to do paperwork. Straight up, fill out applications.
That's the majority of what our money dates are right now, is someone next to you while you fill a thing out. Think about when you go on a road trip, right? It's a lot easier when there's someone else saying the directions and you having to look and check, and you just typing and filling out stuff that you know and already have access to. If you're doing the typing and your partner can be the one to go and reach for the license or the whatever other paperwork.
Read the account number out loud to you. And it doesn't have to be your life partner. It can totally be a friend. You could have a money buddy to have a money date with.
And if you would rather do this kind of stuff solo because you don't like sharing with folks, then what is your snack? What is your drink? What is the thing that will make you feel calm and feel like you, so you have the ability to go through this with minimal emotions involved?
Yeah, and I think that's the advice we'd give to everyone at every stage. And, one of the key parts of Brunch and Budget services is to be financial advocates for our clients. And a big part of being a financial advocate for our clients is literally helping them fill out paperwork. We filled out so many applications for people. We've been on the phone listening to people fill out applications with like other institutions and things like that, because it honestly does help if someone else is there, and if someone else is there to like be the professional, right? And so as you think about paperwork, if paperwork is something that really does cause you a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, consider bringing someone else into the mix. It feels counterintuitive because paperwork feels like something you should do on your own, but it is also something where you probably have a friend who is kind of good at it or doesn't mind. And I think that really is something that to think about and consider when it comes to actually doing it. So should we go through the stages?
Yeah, let's go through the
Let's
stages.
go through the stages.
Let's go through the stages.
Our 5 stages, once again, are financial safety, financial stability, financial sustainability, financial independence, and financial legacy. Financial safety looks like you're unsure where your money is going, your bills feel out of control, your debt feels unmanageable, and you have little to no savings.
Financial stability looks like you have a savings cushion, you have debt, but it's not increasing. You're learning about investing, but you're still one paycheck away from financial trouble.
Financial sustainability looks like you have established habits and savings, you're comfortable auto-paying your bills, your debt is decreasing, and your retirement investments are increasing.
Financial independence looks like you're not working because you want to. You're working because you want to, not working because you have to. It looks like you've got no credit card debt, like you have enough savings to fund extended time off. You're getting in control.
Yeah, and financial legacy looks like your investments are funding your lifestyle, you're contributing significantly to your community, and you don't need a credit score.
Don't need a credit score.
So when it comes to paperwork in each of these stages, in the first stage, financial safety, the first thing I think about in financial safety is paperwork is a great time to practice figuring out how you can advocate for yourself, right? Because there are plenty of institutions where you can call customer service and have them help you fill out the paperwork. And it feels like something you don't have access to. It feels like something that could be really expensive, but there are banks, credit card companies where you can like do your application over the phone. And I feel like that we've become it's become theoretically accessible to do everything online and not have to talk to a person, but like take the time to talk to a person and know that you got it right. And if you didn't get it right, that someone is there to help you figure out what went wrong.
Also, financial safety is the stage where you're filling out all the paperwork.
So much.
So much paperwork. So this is the stage where you're going to need the most help. It's going to be daunting. A lot of people don't get out of the financial safety stage in a lot of areas because of the paperwork.
Yeah.
So ask for help to get on out of these.
Yeah.
We've already talked about how it's silly, it's arbitrary, and it often is not made for you to understand it. So you're not dumb for not knowing how to do it, or for being too stressed or too tired to just do it on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. In the financial stability stage, this is you continuing to advocate for yourself. You may actually, when you get into this stage, be a little more comfortable with filling out paperwork. you've done it enough and hopefully you've advocated for yourself enough that like you either know who to call, you have a money buddy, or you have a set time set aside to actually do your paperwork.
I mean, I think that's what happens from you getting from stability into sustainability is creating that time and that place that you do it. And it depends a lot on your money personality. Maybe you're the type of person where it needs to be in your calendar, you need to have it all together, or it can be less formal. But when you're transitioning in those stages, I think that's one of the big markers.
I will say, as someone who is a complicator, and could technically be in the mood to do paperwork at any point. I know it's terrible. But, and when I say be in the mood, it's like, oh, I'm thinking about it now. So let me just stop everything I'm doing and get it done, right?
Because
you've seen me do that.
Okay.
Heyo.
Just asking.
To do paperwork.
The phrase in of itself, I was just, for further reference.
No, but it's funny that I said in the mood, but what I really meant was like urgency and panic.
Same difference. Do they mean different things?
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I think that having a time with you, for instance, to do paperwork has been very helpful and has given me a time and place so that I don't feel like I'm constantly thinking about it.
I love this because, it's up in your head and you might be in the mood, but you must also be comfortable and emotionally available.
Yes. To do paperwork. Exactly. Exactly. And that's how you get from financial stability to financial sustainability. No, I love that jump though, because really like sustainability is where it feels like you have a system, right? I feel like that for us, that is the missing piece of us feeling financially sustainable. Is things aren't systematized, right? In terms of our own journey through these stages.
Well, I mean, I'll give us a little credit. I think we're doing okay in that we have systems.
Yeah.
One thing about these systems, y'all, I found at least, and I don't know, maybe you professionally, you feel a little different, is that they are going to change a lot.
Yes.
You have to address them, you have to evaluate them and go through them. And just because you're changing your system a lot doesn't mean that you're not doing it right.
That's a very important thing for all of us to hear, including complicators and paper chasers in particular, because I think that I'm the type of person who's like, well, if the system didn't work the first time, then I'm a failure.
Yeah, but you've also tried like every bank that
I know.
exists. So you like flipping around from different systems. And that's all right. I'm not that cat. Usually if I get one, even if it's a broken system, I'll sit and hold on to it. And being with you where you've like wanted to change the systems a lot, I started out, this is I guess more like couples of differing money personalities. At first I was mad nervous about it. I was like, wait, why are we doing it differently? Oh man, in my head I'm thinking 3 systems ago and you're doing this whole other thing and I'm confused and I'm stressed about it. And now it's taken me a while to get there, but I feel better about it because I realize you're just optimizing. And the things that I like about systems, I can vocalize that myself and be more of an advocate. Because, in the early times, Pam would be like, I'm not feeling this. Let's do it differently. And I'd be like, all right, I guess. I don't know. And now if you're like, I want to change to using something else, I think we recently had this. We were changing from a spreadsheet kind of thing to more of the documents. And I was like, can we do that because it's easier for me to navigate that? And then you showed me a trick on the Excel.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, never mind. Oh, no.
Rapping text, y'all.
We can do this kind of thing.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, Pam taught me rapping.
I did.
How to rap text.
So in the financial independence stage, this is where you probably have other people filling out paperwork for you.
Yeah,
like straight up.
Well, and for folks, I know there are a number of people.
After you spend all this time learning how to do it yourself.
Well, there are a number of people who are in the independent stage listening to us, party on, y'all. But for the rest of us who are still trying to get there, I want you to think about the paperwork you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Think about the ones you don't want to do, because I don't think we have to be fully in the independent stage to start letting go of some of the paperwork. And think about what you need to do, how much money you need to make, and what position you need to be in to let go of it. Because I don't know about you, but that makes it easier for me to do stuff when I know that eventually I'm not going to have to do this stuff.
I also think, too, the thing to think about, even in the financial independence stage, but with paperwork in general, is when you are in the financial independence stage, you can have a true like private banking relationship probably where someone will fill out the paperwork for you. I feel like that one of the things that I think I mentioned this before, one of my first jobs was to actually like fill out a bunch of paperwork for a bunch of wealthy clients, right? Because we weren't going to have them do it themselves. And so like when you start to have those like more private banking relationships in the financial independence stage, you can let go potentially of a lot of the financial institution paperwork.
Wow, private banking relationship.
I know.
This
It's
is
a whole
like
thing.
our sexiest show.
Hey.
I don't know who has a private banking relationship. That sounds like you got locked in the vault.
They might do. May you have to be in legacy to do that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know, that's
That's
a
really
legacy
the fifth
move.
stage is a legacy move right there. Well, yeah, and financial legacy too is very similar in terms of, it's so interesting to think back to my time in wealth management as an associate because so much of it was just like doing admin for people. Right? A lot of family offices when you're in the financial legacy stage are like people just doing your admin for you and giving you the form and saying, just sign right here. You know?
Do you think, as someone who's gone through all of those, is it better to have understood what the paperwork was when you're letting go of it rather than, I'm sure you have clients who've like never looked at any of the paperwork they've ever done?
I think it's particularly important to have people who you trust putting paperwork in front of you. So I'm someone who would want to know everything that is involved in the paperwork. I have plenty of clients who are like, just tell me what to do. Right. And I think it's so interesting. I remember one of the workshops, someone asked us, like, what do rich people do? And I was like, oh, other people fill out paperwork for them. They're like, do they just master the paperwork? And I'm like, no. No, they didn't master the paperwork. They just like paid someone else to do it.
I really
right?
love the idea. Not only did rich people not master a thing, but that you don't. Because I asked you, I was like, well, should you have it, right? You know, and it's more like the virtue of
Right.
hard work and hard Scrabble folks. And you're like, nah,
No.
you should trust the cat because you don't want to get done dirty. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing virtuous about being good at filling out paperwork. Yeah, let's be clear, right?
no, that's really dope. Before we get into this, like, you know, virtue and vice kind of stuff about it, really, y'all, it's okay that you have the skills to pay the bills. And it's okay to not have to be proud of those skills that pay the bills.
Yeah.
It's all right. You did it and you can do it. And you can decide to hang your hat on the things that really fill you up as a person rather than this stuff just because you've decided, well, I'm good at it, so I guess I better be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly. Today's episode is sponsored by us, Brunch and Budget. Brunch and Budget is not just a podcast. It's a financial planning practice with a team of certified financial planners and accredited financial counselors ready to work with people who need a safe space to talk about your finances. Many of our clients come to us because someone or something made them feel bad about their money. We are the antidote to that. We do all our financial planning and coaching through a racial wealth equity lens, and we'll use our very own 5 stages to financial legacy to show you how far you've come and where you're headed. Go to brunchandbudget.com to learn more.
Those of y'all, you should know this. If you don't know this, even if you're not from this country, you should know this. But hey, maybe you didn't learn about this. Voting is not a fair and equal thing in this country, and really hasn't been. And even the amount of fair and equalness we have now is much better than what we had before. So there was a time when only white men could vote, and you know, white is a shifting target. So, you know, other ethnicities started being accepted into the white canon, and then this, that, and women's suffrage, and well, it was only white women then, so then women could vote. And now we eventually got to the point where they were like, well, maybe some black people should vote, which is like, seemed like a novel idea. Shout out to great poet, Novel Idea. And people were resistant to this. And similarly to what you see nowadays with welfare stuff, right to work, all that, people say, well, they got to earn it.
They got to
Because
earn
we
it.
don't think that they deserve it. That's so ill. Like, people got to earn something if you think they don't deserve it. They're not inherently good enough. But black people were told that we are inherently bad. We are inherently stupid. We are inherently in service. We talked about that many episodes ago, talking about the whole why servers get tips and don't get paid well. So they made up a test, and they wanted you to be literate. It's funny because outside of all the context, it feels like it's not a bad idea. Like, oh, stupid people shouldn't vote. You should be smart to be able to vote, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you should be able to read and understand the issues and
be informed about stuff.
yeah.
Even though if you try to vote for your local elections, I don't know if you've really tried to look online, but there is no simple centralized place for you to find all that information.
We've
You
tried.
got to figure it out based on who's calling you and knocking on your door and texting you and all the other random stuff. So while none of this has ever been solid or real, they made up this test. And this test, this one in specific, is from 1964 in Louisiana. My mother was born in 1957. She was a 7-year-old. So she was just 11 years away from being voting age. And if she lived in Louisiana, this is the test that they would have given her. All right, as we get into it, you'll be like, wow, living people took this. So it's 30 questions, and you got to finish it in 10 minutes. We're not going to get through all 30 questions. Pam, I'm going to ask if you would like to try to answer some of these
That's
questions.
3 questions a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's flying. Like I said, we're not going to get through all of them. But
Okay,
we're gonna
I'm just like, that's fast. That's a fast test.
Well, this is going to be a
Okay.
paperwork thing where we're going to see how quickly this breaks our soul.
Okay.
All right. So this and it says this test is to be given to anyone who cannot prove a 5th grade education. Do what you are told in each statement. Nothing more, nothing less. Be careful, as one wrong answer denotes a failure. One wrong answer.
Wow. You had to be 100% right.
First question.
Ooh.
Question 1. Draw a line around the number or letter of this sentence.
What?
Yeah. Draw a line.
Wait,
around-
draw a line around?
Around.
Okay, I'm stumped right there.
Right. Is it a circle
Draw
or
a
is
line
it like
around?
around the number or letter of this sentence?
Which sentence?
This sentence.
one's?
Mhm.
But there's lots of letters in that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
The number or letter.
Yeah. This is why I don't like crossword puzzles.
Oh my God, has it been a minute already?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
right?
know how to answer that question.
So just to let
What's
you
the
know,
answer?
it's you draw a line, a circle around the number 1 that is leading the sentence.
But why does it say number or letter?
Well, because it could have started with an A, B, or C. Right. Yeah. Let's keep it going. Number 2. Draw a line under the last word in this line.
Draw a line under. Okay, so it'd be the word line.
Right. And at this point, now you get it, right? Oh,
You're like,
this
oh
is-
shit,
this
they're
is-
trying to trick me.
It's trick question city,
Okay.
right? But like,
Oh my God, I just understood the first question. Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to say what you're
Well, because it's the you're circling number 1 because it's referencing that it's the first question.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's read this literacy test to me like multiple times. I was like, yeah, okay, let's
Yeah,
take
we
it.
prepared for this.
I'm like, I literally just got it.
Oh, and imagine you're like stressed out. It's, anyway.
Wow.
Cross out the longest word in this line.
Hold on, I have to look at the paper.
It's longest is the longest word. Funny
Oh,
enough.
wow,
But-
okay.
But
Yeah.
more trick question. Circle the first letter of the alphabet in the line in this line. The first letter of the alphabet in this line.
I have to read this, y'all. Hold on.
Circle the first.
Circle the
I should just say,
First letter.
we'll have this in the show notes that you can check it out if you want.
So they want you to circle the first time the letter A shows up.
Yeah, it's the first.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it's the first instance of the letter A, but it says circle the first letter of the alphabet in this line.
That is like, my brain is like hurting right now. We're only on question 5, y'all.
Yeah, no, I think should we
Yeah,
stop?
let's stop.
We can
That's
stop.
too much.
It
It's already been 10 minutes.
It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any easier. These are questions that like you can get right or wrong, but they don't denote anything.
No, they show that you're like good at taking a test.
That's what tests are. Y'all know this? Y'all know that tests aren't anything? That tests are not good things that show that we're smart and can prove anything at all? This is why I'm a hip hop educator. This is why I'm a hip hop MC. This is why I love this hip hop stuff. We were talking about it before we started recording, but there are inherent evaluations in life, in the way that we do our thing. And what I love about hip hop as a mode of education method of communication, a culture, is that it has these tests in a way that I think are pretty equitable. They're just about, can you get down? Sometimes they're direct one-on-one challenges, these battles, right? But even these battles don't mean that you have to leave the space unless that's what the battle is about, whether or not you're safe to be in the space. These battles are challenges of your efficacy and your dedication and your rehearsal, and to see whether you care about this enough to be a part of this. In school, if you can show that you have education, that you have efficacy, that you care about this stuff, you're going to continue to use the things that you're learning in that class. This isn't discovered through rote evaluation. This isn't discovered through multiple choice questions that have some trickery involved. This isn't discovered through asking somebody to write an essay about something that they've just been introduced to. There is no learning in trickery.
Well, and that's the tricky thing about paperwork, right? We were talking right before the show, and I was like, paperwork is kind of like tests for adults. And a lot of it is, right? We were talking about how paperwork is necessary and it's not going to go away. But there is plenty of paperwork, and there are plenty of tests you have to take as an adult where they're literally just trying to say, got you.
The more important part is not that paperwork are tests for adults. It's that tests are paperwork for kids. I'm getting on my teacher thing. Is that a lot of these tests that we have, I'm sorry to y'all, young folks who are listening to this, and you're still going to have to take a test because, again, these things do govern a lot of what we do. And I'm sorry, grown folks who have to, take a test to get into this other thing that you want to get. But really what this is created for is to make sure that we can jump through hoops.
In the midst of talking about paperwork, in the midst of kind of unraveling the systemic issues and barriers because of paperwork, addressing the fact that testing has become such a pervasive indicator of, hey, you're good at something because you passed this test, when in reality we know that's not true, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, the whole thing incenses me. I'm only not yelling because these are nice microphones, and I don't
You don't want to blow them out, right?
Mess them up.
Yeah. So
you didn't do it. You didn't do the test.
I think going back to what we were saying about paperwork, you are not any more or less virtuous because you're able to pass a test, because you're able to fill out a form, right? And I think that when we can start to separate our own self-worth and our own value from the systems that exist to make this run, then we can really go through them, right? Then we can remove a lot of the shame and fear and really start to get shameless about all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to go from here. How can we get shameless about this? Because, it doesn't matter. These are tests made by people who don't like you.
Yeah. So take them if you have to, and then fuck it. Let's go.
It reminds me of the whole, when Oprah went into, some store and they were treating her like she couldn't afford anything. And then she went and, bought up a bunch of stuff. And I was like, no, Oprah, don't buy nothing from them. Yeah. You don't got nothing to prove to them. Remember, y'all, you don't got nothing to prove to them. I mean, you might literally have something to prove to them and then fill out the paperwork, but in your heart emotionally.
Yes.
Let's get real about being shameless about this paperwork. So we know, A, they don't care about us, the people who made the paperwork. Yep. We know, B, that there is...
Paperwork is not objective. Paperwork is subjective. Tests are subjective.
But our position in paperwork is objective.
Yes.
We don't love it. We don't hate it. There's no virtue in it. There's no failure in it. It just is, right? We know that this is a barrier to us getting the stuff that we want and or to us being safe in our homes and our communities. So how can we let go of any of this shame about it? What's the first thing that we can do to let go of the shame of caring about paperwork so that we can stop?
I want you to have this paperwork mantra, y'all. It's not me, it's the paperwork.
It's not me, it's the paperwork. It's not me, it's the paperwork. Yeah, that works for me. I like mantras. Mantras are the thing that really help us remember where we're at. I think especially for us neurodiverse type of folks, I've been told neurodivergent, people don't like that because I don't know. But for neurodiverse or neurodivergent folks, people who think differently, people who often have to take medication, and people who don't build habits, right? And I'm one of those cats. For those of us like that, we don't know what we're doing, and we need to remind ourselves that we actually do know what we're doing. I'm saying all this to preface this artist that we got. It's definitely a friend of the family, dope hip hopper, Swordplay, out of Cali. I don't know what part of Cali Swordplay is from, but he's got an album just dropped called Paperwork, and this song that I thought is apropos for what we're talking about. It's called I Barely Know How to Dress Myself. So get your stuff together so you can figure out how to dress yourselves, your mantras, and all those other things. And remember, it ain't you, it's the paperwork. Check you next time. Peace.
Tell me, what is it that you find in the tiny wardrobes of your existence? Is it a silk robe sewn with time? Or dusty laces, faces coming in the pride of coal mines? Otherwise soon to become traces of the resistance. Me, I pay no mind to bow ties tied around the necks of alcoholics. No cash money and leather wallets. Put yourself up for your own Rolex. I'm sorry I can't help you. I would if I could, but I barely know how to dress myself. I show up to OCI in a pair of sweatpants, as I don't dress up for death chance. No internal time urgency, I'll leave the public interest behind me. Personally, I'm more interested in 180 or 190. Fuck it, why not? 225 lives, benefited from privilege. Now I'm at the top of the economy, and I've spoken to those below me back in the colonies. I work within that dichotomy. Words who disappear inside theory can only regurgitate your favorite European philosophy. My autobiography will be in at least 3 languages. I am an Arabic grammar champion. I get paid to make sandwiches. I'm slinging syntax back with the MC next to me. Complexity doesn't even bother me. I just barely know how to dress myself. I make a pretty good refrigerator poetry nonsense, and I can think in abstract concepts. I'm undefeated in Mortal Kombat, 24/7 contact, customer service expert, just seeking to apply myself. I split infinitives wherever I please. I make up adjectives, a type of complexitive hobby of mine, but I find it inadequate to effectively demonstrate my skill. Cause at the end of the day, I still barely know how to dress myself. I thank God that at the very least I know how to pray for myself. 1-800 number still stuffed into my pockets. I take a picture and crop it. Passed away loved ones in my little locket. Attached to that necklace, I'm a limited edition Nexus 6 prototype. The way I've been trained to wreck this shit. You're intoxicated at breakfast. You drive away in a Lexus. Your side view might be exactly what my U-Lock might mess with. Motherfucker, I barely know how to dress myself. My cognitive capacity at all-time high. Where's every last neuron if yours is gonna ride? The creeks have all run dry. I'm swimming in the ocean. None of modicum of regret in my body, except that the water is frozen. I swallowed the wrong dosage. Way past metamorphosis, no performances. No attempt at any resemblance of courses. My hearing is fine. My vision like an NSA satellite in orbit. I'm still 64-bit. I just barely know how to dress myself. And in international airports, I observe convention. The jet lag does not affect me, cause I'm making a point to not malfunction. Though I barely know how to dress myself. Though I barely know how to dress myself. I barely know.
Thanks for listening to the Brunch and Budget podcast. Please feel free to rate us, debate us, hate us, date us, infatuate us, something that means you like us but rhymes with 8. Say what's up. Tell us we make great stuff on Apple Podcasts or really anywhere that lets you comment, Reddit, YouTube. I don't know. Just tell somebody, like just knock on your neighbor's door. Subscribe, add us to your archives. Feel free to share any episodes that you think will help somebody out. Help us expand our circle so we can bring the real to more communities. If you got a song about money, financial systems, or how you feel about either, please send a link or MP3 to dialect@dialect.com. Figuring out how to spell it is your only real obstacle. We love some informational, intentional, influential songs from indie artists.